Have you ever watched someone argue like their life depended on it, only to walk away red-faced, angry, and still completely wrong? Stoics would look at that and smile, not because they enjoy chaos, but because they've mastered the art of winning without wasting energy on debates. You see, in a world obsessed with being right, the Stoic prefers to be wise. They don't need to raise their voice to prove their value. They just raise their level of calm. And trust me, that's a superpower most people haven't unlocked yet. So if you've ever wanted to stay in control, outsmart without confrontation, and let your silence echo louder than someone shouting match, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to support our journey. And make sure you watch till the end. The final strategy might just save you from your next unnecessary argument. Number 1, master the power of silence. The Stoics believed that silence was not weakness, but strength disguised. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." When someone insults or challenges you, your calmness can speak volumes. Remaining silent isn't avoidance, it's control. It's the ability to respond, not react. In a heated moment, silence creates mystery. People begin to question their own behavior. Why didn't you fight back? Did they say something foolish? Are you unaffected? This quiet pause makes them uncomfortable, and in that discomfort, your power grows. It's not about being passive. It's about positioning. Silence also buys you time. Arguments are often lost in the first emotional reaction, but a Stoic uses that silence to process. What's really going on here? Is this worth my peace? Can this person even handle truth without twisting it? If the answer is no, silence wins again. And let's be honest, arguing with a fool only proves there are two. If someone is fishing for a reaction, sometimes the best thing you can do is let them fish in peace, with no bait from you. Number 2, use questions instead of accusations. Instead of saying, "You're wrong," say, "That's interesting. What made you come to that conclusion?" See what happened there? You've just taken a Stoic detour around a potential argument. The Stoic way is not to overpower someone's mind, but to guide it back to reason. And nothing guides better than a well-placed question. When you ask a question, you invite the other person to reflect. And often, people realize their own inconsistencies without you lifting a verbal sword. Socrates, who greatly influenced Stoicism, used this exact method, questioning people until their own logic collapsed. He didn't fight, he led. Questions also flip the dynamic. Suddenly, you're not the emotional one trying to prove a point. You're the composed thinker simply seeking clarity. It disarms the other person. It makes them feel heard. And more importantly, it avoids turning a disagreement into a war of egos. So next time someone's heating up like a microwave, try cooling things down with curiosity. Why do you feel that way? What do you think would happen if we tried it differently? You'd be surprised. Questions calm storms faster than counterattacks ever could. Number 3, control your ego, not the outcome. Here's where most arguments start. Someone pokes your pride, and your ego jumps out like it's ready for a UFC match. But Stoics knew better. They trained themselves to separate ego from reason. The goal isn't to win the argument. The goal is to win your peace back. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. If someone says something wrong or rude, ask yourself, does this really deserve my peace? Will this matter in 5 days or even 5 minutes? Your ego wants applause, but your soul, it wants quiet. The Stoic learns to observe before reacting. They recognize when their pride is being baited, and instead of lashing out, they let it pass. Why? Because arguing rarely changes minds, but it always reveals character. Don't let someone else's ignorance drag you out of your character. And hey, if you've ever won an argument but lost your sleep over it, you know what I'm talking about. Let the fool win if it makes them happy. Meanwhile, you'll walk away with your peace, your self-respect, and your time, which is a much bigger victory. Number 4, let actions speak louder than your opinions. Words can lie, behavior can't. Stoics didn't go around preaching. They lived in a way that made preaching unnecessary. If someone doubts you, argues with you, or tries to challenge your values, show them your results, not your rebuttals. A Stoic knows that arguments often stem from insecurity. If someone feels the need to dominate every conversation, it's usually because they feel small inside. Don't shrink to their level to prove a point. Grow so tall they can't reach you. Remember, lions don't need to roar. Their presence is enough. Letting your actions speak doesn't just avoid conflict. It makes your words carry more weight when you finally choose to use them. People respect those who can stay calm and keep building, even when the noise around them gets louder. So instead of arguing with critics, impress them with outcomes. And if you ever feel like saying, "I told you so," just smile. That's Stoic victory. Nothing stings more than watching someone succeed silently, especially when they could have rubbed it in, but didn't. Number 5, detach from a need to be right. Here's the toughest but most freeing Stoic strategy. You don't have to win every argument, because not every argument is worth winning. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care more about your peace than proving points. Arguing often becomes an addiction. People chase the dopamine hit of being right, but Stoics broke that cycle. They weren't afraid of being misunderstood because they knew truth didn't need constant defending. If you're right, time will prove it. If you're wrong, your openness to learn will grow you. Either way, you win. Detaching from a need to argue also allows you to listen better. Instead of planning your counterattack, you actually hear what the other person is saying. Sometimes, you'll find they aren't looking for debate, they're looking for validation. Or they're hurting, or they just want to feel seen. And a wise Stoic knows when to listen instead of launch. So the next time someone pulls you into an argument, ask yourself, is this about truth or is this about ego? If it's the latter, detach. Walk away. Or better yet, laugh it off with that professional Stoic humor. You may be right. I'm still going to sleep great tonight either way. Number 6, agree strategically to disarm the conflict. It may sound counterintuitive, but sometimes the best way to win is by agreeing. Not because the other person is right, but because the argument isn't worth your energy. This is called strategic agreement, a Stoic move that turns heated tension into deflated noise. Seneca once wrote, "If you want to be loved, love. In the same way, if you want peace, give it." Agreeing doesn't mean you surrender your principles. It means you rise above pointless resistance. Let's say someone tells you, "You're always so quiet, like you don't have anything to say." Instead of going on a defensive rant, try, "Maybe you're right. I guess I just enjoy listening more." That's it. You just turn their jab into a calm compliment to yourself. And now they're confused, not empowered. Strategic agreement works because it disrupts the pattern. People expect resistance. When you offer calm agreement instead, their desire to argue dissolves. More importantly, agreeing strategically shows confidence. Insecurity argues. Confidence adapts. When you don't need to prove yourself right, people start to see that you probably are. And let's be honest, few things are more frustrating to an angry person than someone who agrees with them on purpose. That's Stoic chess while they're playing checkers. Number 7, know when to walk away gracefully. Not every battlefield deserves your presence. Some debates are emotional quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. The Stoics were masters of knowing when to exit, not just how to engage. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Translation: sometimes the smartest move is to leave the room, not win in it. Walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It means you know your limits, your priorities, and most importantly, your worth. You don't need to defend your intelligence to someone committed to misunderstanding you. In fact, some people only argue because they need an audience. When you leave, you take away the applause, and their performance ends quickly. Here's a useful line: "I think we're not going to agree on this, and that's okay. Let's not waste each other's time." Boom. Graceful. Direct. Stoic. You preserved your dignity, kept your emotions in check, and probably stun them into silence. Sometimes silence is loud, but walking away is louder. Number 8. Practice premeditation before conversations. The Stoics had a technique called premeditatio malorum, imagining negative outcomes ahead of time so they wouldn't catch you off guard. Before you step into a discussion that might lead to an argument, ask yourself, what's the worst this person could say? What's the dumbest point they might bring up? How will I stay calm if they cross the line? By mentally preparing yourself for nonsense in advance, you're less likely to get pulled into it emotionally. Seneca prepared daily for rudeness, ignorance, and insults, not because he was pessimistic, but because he wanted to stay unshaken. Think of it as emotional armor. You're not going in ready to attack. You're going in immune to attack. So next time you're meeting that coworker who always needs to win, or that family member who thinks YouTube is a waste of time, go full Stoic mode. Expect the worst and respond with your best. Because when you've rehearsed the storm, you don't panic when it comes. You just sip tea and let it pass. Number 9, focus on influence, not domination. Most arguments are power struggles in disguise. Who's smarter? Who's right? Who gets the last word? But the Stoics weren't interested in domination. They aimed for influence. You don't have to win the argument today if you can inspire change tomorrow by how you carry yourself today. Let's say someone disagrees with your values. You can scream your perspective and hope it sticks, or you can live your values so consistently that your presence becomes a quiet education. Remember, no one likes being told what to think, but they're open to being shown a better way. Stoicism wins through example, not enforcement. Influence is subtle but powerful. Over time, people notice your calm, your patience, your logic, and they start to wonder, how are they like that? That curiosity is more valuable than temporary agreement. Instead of dominating someone with your opinions, become someone they respect even when they disagree. That's not just a Stoic move, that's a legacy move. Number 10, humor as a shield, not a sword. Stoics weren't humorless monks. In fact, they understood the power of humor, not to attack, but to defuse. Sometimes, instead of clapping back in an argument, all you need is a little smirk and a witty line. Seneca was known for dry sarcasm that made people think and laugh. And when used wisely, humor keeps your dignity high and the tension low. For example, if someone says, "You really think you're always right, don't you?" A Stoic might respond with, "No, just more often than not." Said with a smile, you just diffuse the situation, preserve your power, and probably got a chuckle. Humor throws people off balance. They were ready for a fight, and now they're dealing with clever charm. That's a win without confrontation. The key is to use humor as a shield, not a sword. Don't mock or belittle. Use it to show that you're unbothered and that you value peace over pettiness. When done right, humor signals that you're in control, not because you shouted louder, but because you rose higher. In a world full of hot-headed arguments, sometimes the Stoic with a calm joke wins more than the guy with bullet points. Winning without arguing isn't weakness. It's the highest level of strength. When you master these Stoic strategies, you stop trying to win debates and start winning respect. You stop fighting battles and start owning your peace. So the next time someone tries to drag you into drama, remember what you've learned here. Be the calm in their chaos. Be the silence in their storm. Be the proof that wisdom doesn't need to shout. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and support our Stoic journey. More timeless wisdom is on the way, and you won't want to miss it.